Welcome to CineScope 10, where we count down the best, the worst, and everything in between. Today, we're diving into the top 10 worst Netflix original movies, a list full of cringe-worthy creations and questionable creative decisions. Stick around to find out if your least favorite made the cut. Number 1. The Kissing Booth, 2018 Elle Evans, Joey King, is a pretty and smart high school student who must reluctantly run a kissing booth at her school's spring carnival. Elle finally secures a kiss from Noah Flynn, Jacob Elordi, the school's handsome but troubled rebel. The only issue is that Noah just so happens to be the brother of her best friend, Lee Joel Courtney. Tensions arise as Elle must choose between her friendship and love. The Kissing Booth is a movie that can appear appealing to a certain audience, but the issue lies in the execution. There's simply nothing charming, entertaining, or even romantic about it. This is a movie created not from passion, but engineered to appeal to the widest audience possible. The Kissing Booth is a vapid time waster and a prime example of low-effort Netflix slop generated to make a quick buck. Number 2. Rebel Moon, Part 1, A Child of Fire, 2023. The existence of a peaceful settlement on a distant moon is threatened by a tyrannical army. The mysterious stranger Cora Sofia Boutella becomes the colony's only hope of avoiding decimation. Tasked with uniting a rebel force of figures from different worlds, bravery proves to be the most valuable asset against a force hell-bent on smothering peace. Rebel Moon, Part 1, A Child of Fire is at best a colossal creative misfire, and at worst a tedious, mind-numbing slog. Director Zack Snyder is a capable genre filmmaker, but none of what worked in his previous movies makes an appearance in this misguided and absurdly self-important sci-fi venture. Ironically so, Rebel Moon, Part 1, A Child of Fire never takes off. There's not a single element here that hasn't been done better elsewhere. Number 3. Death Note, 2017. Intelligent high schooler Light Turner, Nat Wolff, stumbles across a supernatural notebook that has the power to kill anyone whose name is written in it. Of course, with such power comes great responsibility, but Turner has different ideas in mind as he launches a vengeful crusade against any he deems as unworthy of living. While by no means a good movie in any regard, Death Note is perhaps the most offensive to fans of the acclaimed source material. None of the nuance or stimulating moral quandaries are present in this American remake of the Japanese manga or wildly popular television series. Not even the wicked voice acting talents of Willem Dafoe saved Death Note from complete and utter mundanity. This is an exciting story that deserved so much better. Number 4. Uglies, 2024. In a future dystopian world, extreme cosmetic surgery is enforced at the age of 16 as a means to make all citizens of society pretty and uniform. Teenager Tally Youngblood, Joey King, isn't keen on this forced conformity and rallies a force of fellow uglies against an oppressive force that views natural beauty as a threat to humankind. Uglies is about as tacky and unsightly as the movie's title would suggest. It uses the familiar YA narrative, but the execution makes it feel hideously outdated. They don't make movies like this anymore, and perhaps that's for the better. There's nothing convincing about a movie as artificial as Uglies, making for a wholly ironic clashing of creative intent and technical execution. Number 5. The Cloverfield Paradox, 2018. In the near future, Earth is facing an energy crisis. Dwindling natural resources and political turmoil have set humankind on the brink of total self-destruction. Orbiting the Earth is the Cloverfield Station, operated by a group of multinational scientists and engineers readying to test a device that could solve these dire issues. Unfortunately, when their experiments go horribly wrong, there may not be much left of Earth to save. Despite a wildly compelling marketing campaign on par with the original Cloverfield, the Cloverfield Paradox offers very little substance or interest. A promising setup gives way to a painfully derivative sci-fi hodgepodge that is woefully lacking intrigue. The Cloverfield Paradox is tedious and disappointingly unwilling to expand upon its grander ideas. Perhaps the worst aspect of the Cloverfield Paradox is the studio manipulation behind attaching a franchise name to a project that bears little resemblance to the greatness that came before it. Number 6. The Open House, 2018. After witnessing a tragic and traumatic event, teenager Logan Wallace, Dylan Minnette, is eager to move on as he and his mother, Piercy Dalton, move into a vacant mountain house. Unfortunately for the pair, this move will be anything but a fresh start as their new home falls under siege by threatening and violent outside forces. The Open House is a horror thriller that never takes off. Poorly acted, convoluted, and incredibly dull, it's a Netflix original that's sure to induce more yawns than thrills. There just really isn't anything that can be taken away from a viewing of The Open House, aside from a wildly subversive and utterly unsatisfying ending that makes the previous 90 minutes feel like even more of a waste of time than it already was. Number 7. Hes All That, 2021. TikTok influencer Paget Sawyer, Addison Rae, has found success in broadcasting her daily life to a flock of supportive fans. Unfortunately, Sawyer's call to fame is snuffed out after some dishonest practices are made apparent to her followers and sponsorships are revoked. As a means of redemption, Sawyer makes it her mission to turn antisocial photography student Cameron Queller, Tanner Buchanan, into prom king. For all of Netflix's attempts at pandering to the tastes of social media addicted preteens, he's all that just might be the most insulting and vacuous. This movie is no more than an advertisement for its influencer stars' more profitable endeavors. It all reeks of disingenuous gratification of Gen Z culture. Hes All That has no interest in offering anything of substance. It's all monetary and totally devoid of inspiration. Hes All That is one of the most shallow examples of Netflix's commercialization and market study at the cost of creativity. Number 8. 365 Days, 2020. Massimo Torricelli, Michelle Morone, is the handsome young boss of a Sicilian crime family. Laura Biel, Anna Maria Siekluka, is a sales director operating out of Warsaw. Laura is successful when it comes to her career, but she yearns for romantic passion. A trip to Sicily leads to Massimo and Laura meeting in the most unlikely of circumstances. Massimo kidnaps Laura and gives her 365 days to fall in love with him. As compelling as a challenging and unorthodox romance movie can be, 365 Days should only ever be described as abhorrent and objectionable. The characters are shallow, the drama is virtually non-existent, and it falls so short of romantic that it seems almost intentional. As for the moral politics of the movie, which caused quite a stir upon release, it's frankly shocking that Netflix would platform a piece of work this ideologically radical. 365 Days should be avoided at all costs. Number 9. The Ridiculous Six, 2015. Tommy Whiteknife Dunson, Stockburn Adam Sandler, is an outlaw who was raised by a Native American tribe. When the life of his father, Nick Nolte, is threatened and a $50,000 ransom is demanded, Tommy sets off on a journey to reunite with his 5 brothers and race to save their father from a ruthless pack of bandits. Hollywood legend Adam Sandler has been known to test the patience and intelligence of audiences with his movies, especially so in many of his most recent efforts. Even acknowledging this fact, The Ridiculous Six is a total farce that only succeeds at insulting whoever gazes their eyes upon it. It's almost impressive how unfunny The Ridiculous Six manages to be. Juvenile, dense, and utterly mindless, this is a comedy that bludgeons its audience with stupidity and offers nothing in return but a splitting headache. Number 10. The Last Days of American Crime, 2020. In 2024, the American government has developed a piece of technology that will all but guarantee the end of crime among its population. A synaptic blocker will produce a signal that will make it impossible for humans within its range to break the law. Bank robber Graham Bricke, Edgar Ramirez, is determined to take back money that was stolen from him, all while uncovering a government conspiracy surrounding the synaptic blockers. The last days of American crime is as nonsensical as the synopsis would lead one to believe. Clocking in at nearly 2.5 hours and boasting an impressively low rating of 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, The Last Days of American Crime is both a movie of insultingly poor quality and a test of endurance. It makes not a lick of sense, and none of it is even remotely exciting or thrilling. The Last Days of American Crime is a Netflix original that calls into question who exactly is making these creative decisions and what their intentions are with the brand. Corporate sabotage is a distinct possibility. And that's a wrap on our countdown of the top 10 worst Netflix original movies, a list that proves not every Netflix original is binge-worthy. Do you agree with our picks? Or did we miss a movie that deserves to be here? Let us know in the comments.